Clemson will be the favorite to win the ACC entering 2025. But who can challenge them? Who could they meet in the ACC championship? Could it be Miami? Could it be North Carolina and Bill Belichick? Could it be SMU, who was the ACC runner-up last year and a playoff team? Or could it be Louisville? Yes, the Louisville Cardinals are being slept on, and they do not need to be slept on. Jeff Brohm's team is loaded heading into 2025, and they have all the pieces there to not just be an ACC title contender, but to be a college football playoff contender. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert Guys, ready to talk some Louisville football, and I am very, very, very excited about this team heading into this next season. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below. That includes our website, thegridironexpert.com, home to our expert picks, home to our weekly newsletters, home to tons of exclusive content to help you get through this offseason. Because again, guys, here at the Gridiron Expert, the season never dies. It never ends. And the season's going to be here before we know it. So you watch our channel, you become a member of our GE Nation, you'll blink an eye and be like, holy crap, football's back. So this is the place for you. Do not miss out. And again, become a member of our GE Nation. So, again, I am beyond excited for Louisville football. And here's the thing, right? It's not like Louisville's coming out of nowhere. Let's look at Jeff Brohm. He's entering year 3 with the Cardinals, his alma mater here. He went 19-8 in his last 2 years. 19-8 in the last 2 years. Won 10 games in his first season with the program, was the ACC runner-up following to Florida State in the ACC championship game. And then this last year went 9-4. And their only losses in 2024 were by 7 points to Notre Dame, national runner-up, 7 points to SMU, which at the time was an upset, but SMU ended up being the ACC runner-up and a playoff team, 7 points to Miami, who would have made the college football playoff if they hadn't choked against Syracuse, and then 3 points, an inexcusable loss on the road to Stanford. But 4 losses, all by 1 possession, all against really good teams with the exception of Stanford. This team was 1 or 2 plays away from maybe already making the college football playoff. Louisville was definitely much better than their record showed last year. And again, 9-4 is not a bad record. So Jeff Brohm is a proven winner. He's won everywhere he's been, did phenomenal things at Purdue, now doing phenomenal things at Louisville, and he has got a great team lined up for 2025. And a lot of the reason for that is because of how well he is as a recruiter, as well as he is in the portal. He has already gained 21 players through the transfer portal. I know Louisville lost a lot, whether it was because they transferred out or graduation, whatever it may be, but 21 players through the portal, and none may be bigger than their new quarterback, Miller Moss from USC. Moss completed over 64% of his passes last year with the Trojans, over 2,500 yards and 20 touchdowns. Many, guys that want to be critical would say, oh, well, he was benched. He wasn't that good. He got benched at USC. That's true. He did get benched. USC has some pretty solid quarterback talent there, and USC as a whole last year was a pretty big disappointment in their first year in the Big Ten. I don't think that's indicative of how good or bad Miller Moss is. I think this quarterback is very, very good. We've seen what he can do. Over 64% completion, pretty dang solid. What we saw in the bowl game 2 years ago, extremely solid. And the beauty of it is, maybe he wasn't always in the right system. Jeff Brohm is going to make sure this is the right system. Every quarterback that Jeff Brohm's ever coached has thrived under him. And now, Miller Moss has some pretty dang good weapons at his disposal. He's got Colin Lacey choosing to return to Louisville. Was kind of banged up last year, didn't play as much as people hoped, a transfer from South Alabama. He is back for another year with the Cardinals. Chris Bell had over 730 reception yards and 4 touchdowns last year. He returns as well. And Moss is also going to have some pressure taken off of him with a breakout running back in Isaac Brown. Kind of came out of nowhere last year, rushed for over 1,170 yards and 11 touchdowns. So a 1,100-yard rusher at their disposal to kind of complement what could be a more balanced offense. I know Jeff Brohm loves to throw the ball. Miller Moss is going to want to go out there and air it out, and they will. But Isaac Brown is a guy that no one needs to be sleeping on. I don't think anybody expected to have as big of a year in 2024 as he did. So this offense, and Brohm being a great offensive mind, is loaded. You've got a good quarterback who's, you could argue, is a veteran. He has enough playing experience, but not as not a seasoned of a vet as some other guys, but a guy that when he has played has proven himself. You've got some veteran wide receivers. You've got a now veteran running back to an extent who was amazing in 2024, and a defense that for the last few years at Louisville has been severely underrated. Now, here's the thing. The one thing I guess I would be more concerned about for Louisville than anything is maybe the trenches, right? The offense is looking good as a whole. The defense, especially in the back seven, looking relatively solid. But what about the offensive line? What about the defensive line, as Louisville lost plenty on both sides of the ball? here's something I thought was interesting. Jeff Brohm added Miller Moss, added a handful of other skill position players to the transfer portal, but he focused heavily on the trenches. We mentioned 21 players transferring into Louisville as of right now. 11 of them are coming on the offensive or defensive line. So 11 of the 21 players that they brought into the transfer portal are bulking up the trenches. You're getting guys that are maybe going to be immediate starters, but you're also getting guys that add depth to your team, whether it's injuries or guys getting worn down, whatever it may be. That was a huge, huge, huge plus. And we know this. We talk about this on the channel all the time. If you want to win football games, you've got to be able to win the line of scrimmage. You've got to be able to dominate the line of scrimmage. Jeff Brohm recognized that. You also got to be able to protect your quarterback. He recognized that. And he went out there and fixed those issues and bulked that up. So you think about it. You've got a team that can dominate the line of scrimmage this year, and a lot of these guys coming from Power 4 programs. You've got a great quarterback. You've got the skill position players to go with it. You've got a decent secondary at your disposal. All the pieces are there for Louisville to have a pretty special season in 2025. And then you look at your schedule, and you go, oh my God, it's even better for us to have a pretty good year. The funny thing is the schedule's so good that in a way it could hurt Louisville, and here's why. Because one or two losses, we've been saying for a while now, you can still get into the college football playoff with 2 losses. And obviously, if Louisville were to somehow win the ACC this year, they're a lock anyways. But 2 losses can still get you in. But typically, that means you've had a pretty good strength of schedule. You want to have a decent resume. Louisville's not going to have that. The schedule's so good, because it's so weak, that, if push came to shove, like Louisville versus an SEC team or a Big Ten team, the Cardinals would probably get left out, if you want to rate the metrics and the strength of schedule and things like that. The Cardinals non-conference, about as easy as you can get. Eastern Kentucky, James Madison, Bowling Green, and then, of course, Kentucky in the season finale. All 4 of those games are at home. All 4 of those games the Cardinals should win and will be favored in. So there's 4 wins right there. In conference play, they do travel to Pittsburgh. They travel to Miami. They travel to Virginia Tech and SMU. Pittsburgh always gives them a little bit of trouble. It's always a weird game between the Panthers and the Cardinals, but I would expect Louisville to be favored in that game again. Those toughest road games are Miami and SMU. Virginia Tech shouldn't be slept on either just because of the environment, but as a team, maybe not quite there yet. Miami and SMU not going to be easy. They do host Clemson. Doesn't mean they're going to beat Clemson, but the best team in the ACC has to come to Louisville on November 14th, so a late season game against the Tigers that will hold major ACC title implications and major college football playoff implications. And I can tell you right now, I would not be shocked to see Louisville maybe 8-1 when they play Clemson. I would not be shocked. I could see them maybe losing to Miami earlier in the year and winning everything else. That's how good I think this team is. So if you're 8-1 hosting Clemson in late November, talk about how big of a game that would be. The implications for both teams be insane. The key for Louisville is going to be those final 3 games. Hosting Clemson, going on the road to SMU and Kentucky. Anything can happen in a rivalry game, as we know, even though Louisville has done very well against the Wildcats as of late. I think if you're Louisville, you've got to find a way to split the Clemson and SMU games. I think you've got to find a way to win at least one of them. Preferably, you beat Clemson. It's probably going to be the higher-ranked team. Probably going to be the bigger win when it comes down to it. But SMU going to be no slouch either, and SMU did come into your house and won. SMU came into Louisville and won. Louisville would love to return the favor, but going to be easier said than done. They've only got a handful of games on their schedule to me that are tough. Again, Clemson, SMU, Miami, I'd say are their toughest 3 games. If you can find a way to go 2-1 in those games and then not slip up to another weaker team like you did last year against Stanford, you have a shot to be in the running for the college football playoff. Again, keep in mind, Louisville 2 years ago was a top 10 team. They faltered down the stretch. They were a top 10 team entering the season finale. And I believe they lost to Kentucky, lost to Florida State, and then lost to USC in their bowl game, right? Also interesting, Miller Moss's breakthrough game was against Louisville back in that 2 years ago in the bowl game. So they lost 3 games. They were maybe in the mix for the playoff, even though it hadn't expanded to 12 teams yet. They were really good. This year, a couple plays away from being a playoff team. Again, all 4 losses by 1 possession. So this Louisville team is closer than you think. They addressed some issues. They filled some holes that they lost. I love this team led by Jeff Brohm. This is a dangerous team. No one's talking enough about the Cardinals. We're talking too much about Clemson, Miami, SMU, guys like that. Do not sleep on Louisville. If they take advantage of the schedule that's been given to them and these players from the transfer portal come together quickly, this is a team that by late November, when they take on Clemson, will be in the running for the college football playoff. It's just a matter of whether or not Jeff Brohm can finally get them over the hump and finish strong, or if they will once again falter down the stretch. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below. That includes our website, thegridironexpert.com, home of the expert picks, home to our newsletters, home to tons of exclusive content there to help you get through this offseason. We want you to take advantage of it because, again, here at our channel, college football never dies. It never ends. So take advantage of it, become a member of our GE Nation, and just take in football year round. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.
Yeah.